1.5 million truckloads of dirt, and they blocked off one end, and they drained the Norlock, and they built Princeton Street Gardens, and everyone's very thankful that they did. And so we're going to walk up a hill to get to the old town, and that's called the Mound, and that hill is artificial, and it's the dirt that they used to drain the Norlock is the dirt that makes the mound these days, so it's a fake hill. Also behind me you can see Edinburgh Castle, which is probably the most important castle in Scotland. It dates back to the 12th century, and it's been the seat of Scottish kings and queens and British kings and queens, and since then. We're going there later at 2:30, so I'll give you more information about that at the time. Okay? But we'll walk around and I'll show you different things. All as we are walking up, there are all those different adverts for different things. So that's quite important because it's the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in the month of August. Okay? So the Edinburgh Fringe is probably the thing that Edinburgh is most famous for, and it's a performing arts festival. So there's a lot of comedy, a lot of dancing, singing, and basically almost every building around us will have fringe events on in the month of August, and the whole town just gets converted. And it's the biggest. I'll just start. So the street we're on right now is actually one street of 4 streets or 5 streets that make up a thing called the Royal Mile. And the Royal Mile is the mile that connects Edinburgh Castle at the top, and all the way down the bottom is Holyrood Palace, where the Queen lives, and Parliament. And so it's called the Royal Mile because obviously it's a mile long, or it's actually like 100 yards longer than a mile, but more or less. And so there's a few different things I'm going to point out. So obviously I've spoken about the castle, I'm going to speak more about that, and eats a load of the local people. I've heard it's really fond of Oxford International tourists, so don't upset the dragon. Yeah, we also, as we're walking down, I'll show you one in a minute. There's these things called closes, so there's these little alleyways down the side of every street, and they're called closes, and they're named after the most famous person that lived at that close. And it's said that from above, the Royal Mile looks like a fish, like a fishbone. So it's like this is the spine, and there's bones going on either side. As we walk on those common spots for people to perform, can someone tell me what instrument they're playing? Does anyone know? Bagpipes, exactly. So bagpipes is like the national instrument of Scotland. You'll see them all around Edinburgh. I personally find them really annoying, but some people like them. And they play the same 4 or 5 songs over and over again, basically. But what I stopped here for was this thing here on the right. So this is called a Mercat Cross. And every city and every town in the UK, if it's an old city or an old town, it will have a Mercat Cross. And what that means is basically, in the old days, if a town wanted to have a market, if it wanted to sell fruit or cows or whatever, it needed permission from the monarch, the king or the queen. And so the Mercat Cross acts as permission that you could have a market right here. So this used to be where the markets were in Edinburgh, and you can see the Mercat stage, they named it after the Mercat Cross basically. But yeah, I just wanted to stop and point that out basically. So they sent a boy down there with drums. So they sent him down, he was drumming, and they were listening to the drums and following him down the Royal Mile because they wanted to know where does this lead. They thought it might be a security threat. And he was walking down just drumming, and he got halfway down the Royal Mile and suddenly the drums just stopped. And so rather than finding out why did the drums stop, was the boy alive, was he dead, they could have sent another child down there, but instead they decided to block off the passageway and leave the boy there to starve and die. But it's said that in the middle of the night there's a really big gun and it's really loud, and when they shoot the big gun, the bell rises to the top. And that's because Edinburgh is actually a port city, so it's by the sea, and so in the old days it was used as a way for the ships to set their clocks, set their watches, so that they would know it's 1 o'clock, because you can see the bell from everywhere basically. That was used for the ships. We also, you can just see it peeking out, those columns, and it looks a bit like the Greek Parthenon, but half finished. You can just see it a little bit, but it's actually, one of the most famous Scottish people that ever existed. He was a writer and a poet and a linguist, and so they built this as a memorial to him, and it's actually the biggest monument to a writer in the world. So it's about 200 feet high. It has 287 steps to get to the top. But what's interesting about it is that the statue in the middle, which is Walter Scott and his dog, was carved out of just one piece of marble. So usually they put statues together. With the statue in the middle, they got a big block of marble, and they carved him out of just that one block, which is very rare for a statue. Yeah. So that's what that is.